Welcome back to the Lethally Stupid podcast, where we're talking about superpowers.
Ooh.
Specifically, which ones we would choose for ourselves, were we allowed only one. You know, it's a generic, standard question. It's been done 1,000 times, but it's a cool personality test, sort of. So I'll go ahead and start off. Give you guys a little bit of time to think about it if you want.
Like no weaknesses with the superpower.
Yeah, it works it works as intended.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, superpower that works as intended.
Sweet.
Because mine is teleportation. Because
yeah.
Which is important that it works as intended, because you
Great.
don't want to be teleporting out into the void of space accidentally, because you
one.
forget that the Earth is careening through space at 1,000 miles an hour. It's not standing still.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I think teleportation would be my personal choice, just because I think it has a lot of. I mean, it's got some criminal aspects. Like I wouldn't have a job anymore. That's for sure. I would just go.
Just pop in and out of the
I would
store,
acquire things.
Yeah.
You know, from not entirely illegally, but it's probably. I can't teleport, so.
Yeah, so I don't do any of those
Yeah.
criminal activities.
You can't do anything unless you can teleport.
Yeah.
Unless you can teleport, but yeah, you know. But yeah, so I think that's probably a pretty common superpower choice in my opinion. And
I mean, considering that most of the world is lazy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think it appeals to the type of person who wants to be able to not take the time to go places, because if you can teleport, then you can stay home. If you want to have a job, you can stay home until 30 seconds before you have to clock in.
Yeah.
You know, you can leave things exactly when you want to, go exactly where you want to. You don't ever have to worry about a vehicle.
You can literally work wherever you want to, because they'll just teleport there instantly.
Exactly.
And then, lunchtime, just go back home.
Yeah.
You know, or wherever the hell you want, really. Yeah. There's like so many applications to it.
Yeah, and so I'm curious. Is that your choice as well?
Yeah, teleportation's 100%.
That's what I
choice.
thought you would pick as well. I remember from the subscriber special, that's what I thought. So
yeah, teleportation because, again, like, I love going and seeing things and going places. It's the act of getting there that I fucking hate. I hate traveling. So teleportation that's the first thing that comes to mind. I don't have to travel anymore. I can literally go to the thing I want to see,
Just
see it, experience it, all that great stuff. Yeah, there's criminal aspects to it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like, instantly teleport into a fucking bank vault and get out of there with the money. And it's like, oh yeah, you'll never catch me. I'd fucking teleport.
Yeah. It's like if you wear a mask and you go into it and then out of it.
Yeah, they don't know who you are.
Yeah. Or how you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he was there and then he wasn't. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, and it's not even one that I've seen actually answered a lot. So like, it's not as common as people think as an answer.
Yeah.
Invisibility is the answer I see most commonly.
And see, that seems way more criminal to me.
Yeah, that and super speed.
Which also criminal, but it's the same basic. I think it's like the inferior version of teleportation, right?
Yes, so that's my argument for is like, yeah, it's inferior to teleportation, and I don't know, it's just a really dumb one, because it's like, okay, but what if you're just like not great at getting out of the way of things, you know?
Yeah, what if you can't turn well?
Yeah, like what if you can't control it like you could teleportation, because it's like, sure, there's no weaknesses. Like if we're going with that
that it works
with
as
no
intended.
weaknesses, works as intended. Well, it's like, well, you're still gonna get bugs splattering in your face.
Yeah, you gotta wear goggles or something.
Yeah, you have to have an outfit for it. You don't with teleportation. You can wear whatever you want.
You just go where you want to go.
See, well, I imagine teleportation, I would use it like in the morning to pretty much like pop into like a hen's nest and just kind of like grab an egg and then pop out. Like, but I would also just kind of be just the type to where like I would kind of like have my head pop in like where a fucking hen is on top of me, and then one arm is reaching up and taking the hen off, and another arm is just grabbing an egg. Good day or good morning.
So you're like going around collecting the stuff for like a perfect breakfast or something,
Yes.
because you got the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like where would you find like the finest hogs to slaughter?
Oh geez, you probably want to do like some sort of German heritage hog. I reckon they have. That's what I would go for. I think they might be British, but Gloucester Old Spot hogs. They're very tasty. We had them at one point in time. So if you were to find like bacon or something or ham from one of those.
So what kind of teleportation are you thinking? Like, what does it look like when you teleport?
My go-to is the instant transmission from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, mine is very similar.
It's
to
the cleanest, basically.
Uh-huh.
You know, it consists of like a gesture or a word you say or something.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and mine, I wouldn't necessarily like want to have that. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Still, but to just do it is cool too. But I want the sound.
Yeah, I feel like even if I didn't
effect.
have to, I would be doing things like snapping to teleport and stuff.
Yeah.
Would it work that like you would think of the place, but then you would need to like verbally say or do an action?
Typically, the way instant transmission works is you just have to know and be able to visualize where you're going.
Yeah, it's visualization.
Mm-hmm.
And like with like Goku using it, he can sense someone's energy, so then he can visualize, oh, this is where they're at because I can sense them there. And he can instant transmission himself to that area.
There's also that movie from like the 2010s or something that is probably part of the inspiration because I saw it when I was a teenager, I think. But Jumper? Yeah,
Jumper. Yeah.
Yeah, so the teleportation would be like ideally similar to that too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. For me, I would want it to be just a thought. Like I just...
Oh yeah, speed of thought.
Yeah, just like... you know, like not just I think of somewhere and I go there, like just accidentally. Like just a random thought in my head, but like... I think, like, all right, I'm going to use my power to go here. You know, it'd be a lot faster than me saying it out loud like that. Just like, you know, I'd be able to just think, okay, I'm using my power right now and go there. And it would be safe. I wouldn't, like, appear in anything or near anybody. That's, like, the whole, like, okay, yeah, the power works as intended thing.
You don't want, like, a signature move and catchphrase like, I'm out of here, snap,
no,
snap.
I don't need that, but I would definitely do that kind of stuff. I mean, I could do that stuff with the thought, you know? Like, people...
Like, you can lie to people and tell them you have to snap.
I could, exactly, because then it's like, you know, like, oh yeah, like, they just, like, find a way to get your hand in some kind of vice where you can't snap. Like, oh yeah, I stopped your powers. I was like... like
just then you don't even have to be the truth. Tell them the truth. You could just be like sarcastic and say the word snap and teleport.
Yeah, they're like, what?
Why does that work?
And then another thing with the power of love is to decide whether or not you take what you're holding with you.
Yes.
So then if you are like somehow trapped somehow, you can just be like, you just teleport without like the handcuffs on you. And like everything else that you wanted up with you is still with you.
Yeah.
I imagine using it to crop dust people a lot. Be like, you know, just
I do some I do some prank like shit. I really would. Oh man, a lot of like what do you call it when you fucking knock and run away?
Ding dong.
I would do a lot of ding dong ditching with my
power.
Teleport to somewhere where I can see the reaction.
It'd be like the CIA though, like, you know, super high. Area 51.
I would go to so many places I'm not supposed to go ever.
I imagine I would
teleport to the president's seat.
Okay, I imagine like I would probably use it for the same thing so often, like crop dusting, to the point to where like just anytime I farted, I'd just be gone. Like if we were just sitting here having a casual conversation, just all of a sudden I was gone. You guys would know that I was before you'd smell it. Before you'd smell it, you know.
Yeah, we'd be
like, God damn it, Brandon.
And
then I also imagine me getting to the point where like not even realizing I've transported to where like every time I fart, I'm going to the same place, and then I look up and I'm just like, oh fuck, I hope I at least didn't shit myself.
So what would your power be?
Yeah, what's your choice, Brandon?
Yeah.
My choice, would time travel be a good superpower?
It's a superpower,
superpower.
Yeah. Honestly, it's probably my second choice. Time manipulation.
It's up there for me. Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't tell you guys the amount of times where I'm just like driving the car after leaving Walmart and thinking like, if I could time travel, I would just go grocery shopping.
I mean, I think the older you get, the more mundane uses. Like, I would nap. Like, imagine if you could stop time and be like, oh fuck, I'm so tired. And you just stop time and take a nap before whatever.
I'd also stop time to learn everything I could. And
Groundhog Day it.
Just pretty much, yeah. And just be like, okay, I'm like literally skilled at everything now, you know.
Like, and it looks like nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. I just like randomly, I'm like, oh yeah, I've always been able to just did it before.
Or just like, hold on, let me think about this for a second.
Just tired of living a lie. Yeah, someone asked me something on the spot. Start
like, well, actually.
No, you say it before they say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely time travel would be, and I mean, if we're assuming works as intended, then you're not going to be doing things like destroying the world or
Timelines
something,
and stuff like
know.
that. Like, yeah, if you could still, like, if you wanted to do something, but be like, okay, I'm going to make sure the timeline stays the same, though. Like, I'm going to change this thing, but it's not actually going to affect anything.
Sacred timeline.
But then at the same time, if you wanted to go back and purposely change something, you could, because you could use the power as intended.
Yeah.
Which is you deciding, I'm going to leave the timeline normal, even though I'm doing all this shit back in this time, or I'm going to totally fuck it.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
okay, so if we went by the theory of like Rick and Morty, where it's like every time you, or is it Rick and Morty? I might be thinking.
That's one of the things that you're talking
I think
about
I might be.
probabilities of
I think
different
I might be
universes and
thinking
matrix.
of Avengers, but like basically like a branch timeline where,
Mhm.
yeah. So basically, the previous timeline exists. They both exist, but then like if you were to like then say try to go back and fix it, wouldn't there just be a third timeline?
That
Like
is one
a-
theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, say like a timeline that would technically be the same as the first, but where the event that brought it into existence occurred at the beginning. That would really be the only difference, but there would still technically be that third one.
Like Dragon Ball's timeline stuff, it just makes new forks every time something's
basically
different.
splits off.
Like a new timeline is formed.
Yeah.
Even though you can travel between those timelines, you don't just go into your own timeline. Like, you can if you want, but like Future Trunks literally goes back into the other timeline. You know,
This is
not
true,
his own.
yeah.
So, like when he goes back and he's like, "Okay, I'm here to fight the androids," and then there's different androids there, and he's like, "This
What the
isn't
heck?
right."
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So he moved between two different timelines.
Yeah.
So you could do that with time travel powers, just
Yeah.
however you intend them to work, they work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every time you do something, then there's just a new world to explore.
If you wanted,
Theoretically,
if
yeah.
you wanted
Yeah,
to
so-
make a new timeline, like a split off, you could decide that with your powers because they're working as you intended them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could
I mean,
also
or
go
it
back
could
in
just be
time.
that it doesn't matter how many of those little splits you make, that it's never going to unravel things.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's definitely up there for me too. It's
Yeah.
probably 2 or 3. I've always liked the idea of like Naruto's Shadow Clone Jutsu, just like sending off other
Oh,
Mii's
yeah.
to go do stuff, and then it's like, well, main Mii doesn't have to go to work,
Yeah.
but the Shadow Clone Mii will go to work.
Yeah, this show.
Yeah, and then the Shadow Clone Mii.
This
is gonna go
guy's working
shopping.
out.
This guy's working
guy
out.
is reading books.
Because with the way Naruto's Shadow Clones work, when they go away, everything that they experience and happen to them is transferred to the main body.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they worked out, then boom,
Yeah.
I get the workout from it. And then anything they learned or experienced, I get it.
You get
Like,
things
I
like
just
muscle memory.
happen to, yeah. So it's like that's up there for me too, because I was just
Yeah.
like, man, I would literally just I'd be grinding experience.
I mean, just honestly, like the Shadow Clone Jutsu is the extreme version of it, but by location. Like, imagine if you could literally just be in 2 places at once, how much
Yeah.
more productive you could be.
Yeah,
Like, if you could literally be at home and at work
Yeah.
at the same time.
yeah. It's like, but I mean, the time powers are
Yeah.
in a way like that because stop time, just do
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
you want. It's like, which can also be used for criminal things.
Yeah.
I've heard people
I
say
mean-
it's like, oh yeah, I would just like do so many terrible things to beautiful women. I'm like, wow, okay, sicko.
Yeah, so
But,
maybe
yeah.
you don't need superpowers.
Like, yeah, maybe, hopefully, no one ever gets powers, and if someone does, it's not you.
Yeah. It's like, or you could just get rich, and then they'll want to do something.
Yeah.
You
Have either of you seen Watchmen?
Watchmen? Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
Watchmen.
You watch-
I mean, a long time
What-
ago, I don't remember a lot about it, but
Well, whatever you guys do remember, what was with I haven't really like seen it, but what I do remember seeing is what was with the blue dude who was able to split away, like what you said,
I mean,
and
Dr. Manhattan's list of powers is
It's insane.
it's insane. He has
He's
so
like
much.
ascended being level type stuff.
Yeah.
oh yeah, well I remember that scene where he's just like, it starts off with him fucking his girlfriend, and then
Uh-huh.
And then working on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, "What? I'm not even worth your full attention." And he's like, "You did have my full attention."
Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, but he can literally change things at molecular levels and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I think he can mess with time. I mean,
he can, yeah.
He can just do
not
whatever
well
he
enough
wants.
to stop the thing that happened in the Watchmen.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, he's pretty much okay with anything that happens because he'll be fine.
He leaves at the end of the movie, doesn't he? He talks about like leaving and going to another planet to create life.
That's pretty much what he does in the comics a lot. Is he just leaves.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of villains who can't deal with him.
Well, yeah, and there's like from a storytelling perspective, once you introduce somebody like Dr. Manhattan, it's like
you have to find a reason for them to leave to not just
fix everything.
Fucking stop every supervillain what even Darkseid, who is like a problem for the whole Justice League normally. Dr. Manhattan would not give a fuck.
Yeah.
If it was like he would just wipe the floor with Darkseid, which Darkseid is so powerful that's crazy to think.
Yeah,
But I mean, it is an offshoot of Darkseid because Darkseid's real form is like insanely powerful also.
Yeah, he's like galaxy size.
Imagine Ego from MCU, so like Guardians 2, and Kurt Russell who plays him?
Yeah.
That Kurt Russell is what Darkseid is in the DC comics.
Except it's more like a galaxy instead of a planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And way more powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Ego is a Celestial in the comics, but
I mean, Darkseid is beyond a Celestial, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah. He. He's straight up one of like the
he's
gods.
like a primal force.
Yeah, he's one of the gods of the DC universe.
Yeah.
It's like there's god level beings in Marvel, but none of them are like god. Like, not all of them are gods of the universe.
Darkseid DC, right?
Yeah, Darkseid's DC.
Okay.
So Justice League is who deals with it. Normally, it's Superman fighting his, body that he creates to go do stuff. Normally, it's Superman fighting it.
Maybe I just have like a dark preference, but I love the Dark World Justice League movies and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this is what
animated
happened
DC
in the
stuff
universe.
Is great.
It's like I love that,
Yeah.
especially when Darkseid's involved. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, he's great. His Omega beams are great. They just fucking vaporize whatever they touch.
But he's such an asshole.
Oh yeah, he is an asshole. Or whenever Superman literally beats him on his own, like on Apocalypse, and he kind of just throws him to the ground. He looks at all the people who live there, who are Darkseid slaves. He's like, do with them whatever you want. And they go up to him and they're like, oh, master, are you okay? And they like take him off to go heal him and stuff. And Superman's confused.
What the hell?
And he's like, if you took over the earth, you'd be a ruler, people would be afraid of you and stuff like that. And he's like, but what's a king to a god? He's like, I'm these people's god, like you doing this to me just makes them be like, oh no, I need to help my god.
Yeah.
That's all it was, like the entire time. Like, they weren't like, they weren't slaves, they were believers. They looked like slaves to everybody else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they did it because Darkseid's their god, and Darkseid is a god. So.
Yeah.
Because really the only gods in Marvel are like Eternity and...
What is it, the one above all?
The one above all is
the tip-top of DC or Marvel, one of them?
Marvel.
Yeah.
It's Stan Lee. Like, the outline of him is even Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Like...
That's fair.
But that is like the supreme being.
The DC universe has that too. They have like the One or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what they call them.
Yeah, it's something like that. But there's that I've mentioned before we started. Like, some of my friends have said superpowers.
Yeah.
And super speed, like I mentioned earlier, was one of them.
Comes up a lot.
And we just nailed him hard for it. Like, I was like, no,
it's the inferior version.
That's so terrible. It's like teleportation's better. He's like, yeah, but you're just doing it. He's like, but you can you can run fast. You can do all this stuff fast. You can do everything fast. And it's like, I don't need to just fucking instantly take a drink.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I had a couple thoughts or questions, I guess. What do you guys think the equivalent of the Devil Fruit Awakening would be for these powers? And then also, what do you think the combination of these powers would look like?
Like our choices, so time travel or time manipulation and teleportation, or just
time manipulation and teleportation.
Okay.
Well, I guess I did say time travel, but I mean, I would probably say.
Well, I mean, time manipulation includes time travel, but time
it'd
travel
be
doesn't
stopping
necessarily-
time.
I guess
and traveling between
I guess
time.
when I think of time travel, I just kind of thought of maybe more linear back and forth, and then time manipulation would be like
doing things
jumping
like stopping
between
time, and
stopping,
slowing, and
and
speeding
then
it up,
jumping between timelines and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I guess time manipulation might actually be the awakening equivalent of time travel in that perspective.
Yeah.
So, and I would think usually if you apply devil fruit logic, then the awakening of a power is to take what the power can do to you and your body and expand it to other things.
Yeah, so teleportation would be like, okay, I can do what's like myself and what's on me, like physically on me, like
and
clothes.
Then awakening would be like, oh, I can touch this building and send it somewhere.
And send it somewhere.
Yeah.
Or you could take large groups of people.
Yeah.
And maybe not even have them touching you, just teleport where you want it
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
As long as they were in a specific range of you,
I have another question we can do to extend this thing. I just thought of too whenever we get done talking about this.
Yeah, which would be cool. That'd be like,
yeah.
oh no, the sun's about to explode. Send it, just use your power to be like, okay, somewhere safe in the universe for Earth, like another perfect area. Because
they do exist.
And that's probability they're out there. There's another.
Supposedly we can see Goldilocks zones from other.
Yeah, exactly.
Say something else that can be expanded with the time manipulation is, since theoretically there would be a you in each timeline, is having connection between your different consciousness.
That's pretty cool.
You become like a one being, but between timelines.
Yeah, like a multi-timeline being or something. Like multiple instances of the same person, but linked simultaneously.
You all know what the other ones are thinking and doing.
Like a hive mind.
Each timeline. Almost like,
So that brings the question, like, could you gather together in one place? That would be interesting.
So, like, also the question is...
So basically you'd become, like, a fourth dimensional being, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we don't have a full understanding of what fourth dimensional is. So
some people think it's time.
Yeah.
So the question is, so, like, does it take... it would have to, so it would have to take an original one of you from a timeline. Now, what happens to timeline A that you're no longer part of it? If you're pulled out, or
sounds similar to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you heard of that movie?
Yeah,
where she starts going through the timelines and like the different versions of herself. I guess
it's almost like it's got some vibes from the One too, that Jet Li movie.
Yes. But there's more to it because you're thinking, like, what's going on with all of you all at once, and you also have the time power. The other ones don't really have, like, too many powers where they do stuff, but they learn things from their other selves and shit like that.
So you could almost say, like, the awakening would be the ability to exist in all those different timelines at the same time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's verging on godhood, I think. Like, because now you're existing in thousands, maybe millions of places at once.
Yeah.
So, which is more than any kind of like mortal is ever really supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so do you use this ability, this hive mind, to, do you use it in your timeline, or are you in this fourth dimensional place?
You could use it in any timeline.
I guess
theoretically it would have to be both, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would that mean that you like have two separate, like, a consciousness from the original timeline, and then a one that kind of got away from you consciousness in a fourth dimension?
If that happens, my best guess would be that whenever you obtain that power, the timeline starts splitting. So as time goes on, the more versions of you exist, the more versions of you do things that split off, and eventually it gets to the point where there's so many that it creates this fourth dimensional effect. So it probably doesn't start out that way. It probably starts out with you being like inconsistently connected to the other ones, being aware of them, but not necessarily in sync with them. And then as time progresses, somehow you get access to infinity or something like that. The balance tips. There's enough of them that the psychic energy is sufficient to connect all of them across timelines or something.
You'd be, it'd be like in how there's like a lot of game series, even though they're in different worlds or whatever, but it's still the same series. Like Final Fantasy, for example, there's always a Sid character. There just always be a Brandon, and everything. Like, oh yeah, here's the Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this one only wears pink,
Exactly.
But it's one of the
There's little idiosyncrasies about all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so are they... Another question, because this is the last one. Now, are they all aware of each other, or is it just the one that's aware of all of them?
I think for it to work, they all have to be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'd all be aware of each other, and maybe the only way it'd be a hive mind is they're aware of each other, but they could probably all still do different things. They just know what the others are thinking and doing.
I mean, we're verging into I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Okay.
yeah, you're good.
So we're kind of verging into philosophical territory that gets hard for us to conceptualize
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
can't exist in two places at once.
Yeah.
Like your brain cannot come up with how that
Uh-huh.
would feel or work. So
Yeah.
the idea of being aware of being in thousands or millions of places at
That's
one
where
time.
it becomes omnipotence.
Yeah.
You're literally a god.
And it's like not. I guess it's not quite omnipotence because it's not literally.
You don't know
everywhere.
everything, but yeah.
But
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I
it's,
guess that
it's
would
close because you're so present in every
Mhm.
reality.
Yeah, so it'd be like, what's the word they use for self whenever, like, so it'd be like,
Auto.
because like, when they talk about like the brain, there's like the ego and stuff like that.
Oh, like the ego and the super ego, the id.
The id, that's
id.
that's the
The
self,
id.
I think.
Yeah.
So instead of omnipotence, it'd be the idipotence,
Yeah.
where you're just aware of all yourselves, pretty
Yeah.
much, and know what all of yourselves are thinking and doing.
You could also maybe call it like quantum presence or polypresence.
Yeah, something like that.
just sounds so close to
Yeah,
impotence.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I was going for whenever I realized what it was. Yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, you're impotent.
Okay, I was. All right.
Hey, one of the versions of you might be
Hey, Pickles. I mean,
impotent.
if we're talking about infinity, then I think one literally has to
To be, yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Pickles.
Anyway, so
and that's another fear. It's like, am I the worst version of all
Oh,
of myself?
yeah,
out
I
there?
think that would be a
Wow.
question. That
Or like, am I
everyone
the
has.
biggest failure out of all myself? Because
Yeah.
man, I fucking hope not.
well, I mean,
But then at the same time, you don't want to see the worst version of you
No,
either. It's
no, you
like,
don't.
yeah.
well, technically, if
But you also don't want yourself to be the most successful either. You're like, oh, this.
Because then they're gunning for you.
Yeah,
It's
because
yeah.
like hopefully this isn't the most successful
Oh, yeah,
version
yeah,
of
yeah.
myself because like look at me.
well, technically, if you're splitting away timelines, and then those those yous are splitting away timelines, and then there'll always be a worse you to come around.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's
So-
true.
So yeah, they'll be one to replace the last.
Mhm.
So
Your tongue is extra sandpaper now.
no worries. People either evolve to get shittier or better.
Yeah,
Most of the
that's
time,
true.
shittier.
I don't think you can evolve to get shittier. I think that literally is the opposite of evolution.
Man,
I think that's yeah.
the towns around here used to be a lot safer.
Well, that's cultural degradation, though.
Yeah.
that's
so.
It's the closest thing to evolution I have
Yeah.
to witness.
Yeah.
But well,
So, I did have another question, though. It's along the lines of superpowers. It's a little more into the anime spectrum, but you guys both have a decent amount of experience with One Piece, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I know Dyson, you're pretty much completely caught up with like the anime in
Oh,
Japanese,
I'm
right?
literally gonna watch the new episode on Sunday, which is new transformation for Luffy. So
Yeah.
I'm fucking
So,
pumped.
how far have you made it into the One Piece anime, Mr. Brandon?
I
Yeah,
had
what
finished.
arc were you in?
Yeah, I had.
Yeah.
Tell us, boy.
I love One Piece.
Yes.
I just finished Thriller Bark.
Okay, Thriller
Okay.
Bark's good stuff.
It is.
So the question...
Nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happened at Thriller
Yeah.
Bark. But, so, the question, to continue off the superpower concept, is if you were given your choice of devil fruit, what would it be?
Ooh.
So you can have any of them that you've seen, or that you know of.
Yeah.
I also know my answer to this one.
I mean, if you have yours.
No, I'm still thinking because there's good ones.
Alright.
Yeah.
If you guys want to think for a second, then I can fill the dead air again by rambling about myself and the choice I would make.
You should
Because-
improvise a solo.
I'm also being
Improvise,
distracted
yeah.
by a cat right now.
I don't know how I can improvise a solo. I'm sitting here getting sandpapered by Pickles, which is fine. I
Yeah.
love Pickles. She's a good girl.
I forget the name of this one, but
That is Tit.
yeah, Tit wants my constant attention.
Yes.
As
That's,
all tits do.
Yeah, no, fantastic. But no, anyway, fortunately, you guys will both have seen my choice of devil fruit because it is
Spring
the
fruit?
no.
Damn. Okay.
You have a guess for what mine would be, Dyson?
I
You might have heard me say it before.
Was it Enarus?
It is.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
the lightning Logia.
Yeah.
Would
So
be my
it's a
personal
great choice.
Yeah.
But you do like the spring fruit a lot, right?
I mean, yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, just because I think the possibilities based on what we see Inru do in the anime are just it's borderline limitless when you can control electricity like that.
Yeah.
It can basically impersonate like half a dozen other devil fruits. I mean, you can pretend to teleport. You can pretend to do Eustace Kid's thing.
Yeah.
You can pretend to fire lasers.
You can
you can pretend to have a gold Logia by manipulating the gold, and or something like that. So you could there's any number of things that are incredibly powerful, and it's just probably got the highest like raw destructive capability of the Logias. I guess maybe like the magma one's up there too, probably.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the highest offensive power, the magma one.
Yeah, that's what they say.
The most firepower or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I don't know if
take a
Oda said that or if that's just fans saying that.
I don't know. I know there is a thing with lava in One Piece
Because
I
mean,
also...
like if Oda said it, then okay, but
yeah,
that's one thing.
And I mean, we just know that Akainu is really powerful.
Yeah, but I feel like he had to have used Haki too with that attack that we're thinking of.
Oh yeah, the hole in one.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't think straight lava would have done that. Like it would have hurt, it would have dealt damage, but I don't think it would just straight up killed that specific character.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of choices that I like that are really great.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if.
I mean, there's a lot of fantastic choices. I mean, it's tempting to just take a Logia in general, I think.
Yeah.
Just because of the level of intangibility it gives you. Because it almost seems like any Logia is better than just a vast majority of the Paramecia.
I mean, if we're talking about the real world, then, I mean, a Logia just means you are unstoppable.
Yeah, basically untouchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, any Logia means you're basically untouchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the Fire.
That is a very solid choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's like my number 2 or 3 choice.
I mean, it makes for good offense and defense.
Incredibly flashy too.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
It's a very spectator fruit.
Someone who needs a lot of attention.
Yes. That's a pretty solid choice. I think it'd be a very good one.
Yes, and I could have a lot of fun with it.
And it's so it's got the advantage of, in my opinion, being an energy-based Logia, whereas fire is like an expression of energy. Whereas you have things like Aokiji and Akainu's fruits that are physical elements. So we know that when Logias get awakened, they affect the environment around them. They can turn matter into their element, which is just turning matter into matter with something like lava. But an energy-based Logia, if it's awakened, you would be turning solid matter into energy, which we know from our world, if any kind of logic applies, that there's an incredible amount of energy in a lot of atoms that just don't split because they're stable. And we just can't split them. So if you're able to do that, to convert them into energy, I think it makes for an incredibly powerful thing.
Wouldn't that essentially wouldn't that just kind of cause an implosion?
I mean, you are defying the laws of physics that matter can't be created or destroyed. But no, you're not. You're just converting it into energy. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't
not
mean
any more than a nuclear bomb does.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that the conversion come through.
I mean, presumably, I mean, I'm sure, it could be written however, it's all fantasy, but presumably I would think that you would have some level of control since the energy you're turning it into is also the thing you're proficient in controlling. So it's probably something you can use to deal a great amount of damage, if you just turn the top fraction of an inch of ground below an enemy into fire, then there's going to be a massive amount of fire because of the energy contained in the matter. So... but it's not gonna, throw the world out of balance or anything. It's just gonna be an incredibly powerful explosion, probably.
When I think of my favorite elemental abilities in video games, I mean, fire is a pretty standard one, so it's not one of my favorites. So electricity is always one of my favorites.
Yes,
that's why Eneru is up there. I like ice a lot, so Aokiji's comes to mind. Light isn't normally one, but I think Kizaru's fruit might be my choice. just because again, you could almost teleport around with it. You'd be really fast.
Yeah.
Intangible.
I mean, there basically no one that could touch you.
Yeah, exactly. But I also like darkness abilities.
Like Blackbeard.
Like kind of like Blackbeard, but his isn't really intangibility.
And we may not even know exactly what his is yet.
So when it comes to those kinds of fruits, like if I had to pick a Logia, it's probably Kizaru's. Yeah, I'm probably going with his. There's others that come to mind. Like it would be cool to have like Marco's.
Yeah,
the Phoenix
that'd
fruit
be fantastic.
would be dope. Because there's some fire in there, and then
that's true.
Healing.
Yeah.
Flames
of revival.
Almost unlimited energy for yourself there, because you just you heal yourself. So, and the body heals itself with energy. So
this is true.
So and then I can help other people, and got fucking fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think Kizar's is probably my choice.
And you could audition for the next Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Good.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
Is there going to be another one of those?
There's a series coming
they're
out.
They're redoing the movies with a series.
Yep.
It's probably going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm into that.
Each season will be a book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, I think that they were needing to do a series, although
I don't
probably
think it
would be
would.
very expensive.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if they'd just done it as a series to begin with, but now...
Well, not necessarily, I don't think, because movies, that's where the money's at.
Well,
so it wouldn't necessarily be as big.
At least.
It's making a comeback.
It's true.
Yeah, you should go to boxofficemojo.com, check out the current numbers. It's nuts. It's almost like COVID
sell
never
your
happened.
show to the right streaming service for a shit ton of money, then there's money in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of money. You don't get residuals. It turns out that
with streaming you don't know.
Well, and it turns out that no matter how good your movie or show is doing,
mm-hmm.
they pay the money up front.
Mm-hmm.
However many views is not a factor.
That's why you'd have to sell it for an insane amount.
Yeah, be a reasonable amount of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd have to be even if this is the best show ever, and even if it's not, you'll still want a huge price tag on it.
Yeah, and every time that it's contracted, they have to come off eventually,
mm-hmm.
and so if they want to stay on, they
wonder
get
how
renewed.
much Disney paid for Bleach.
Oh, I have no idea.
Because Bleach came back. I know.
Yeah, I know
Bleach.
about that. Yeah, it's
and then Disney Plus fought to have it on Disney
as
Plus for some reason.
Just another way to suck in
more
fans.
people, I guess. And but Bleach was an odd choice. I felt because
yeah,
it's a lot different from the rest of their stuff.
It really is. It's all these Disney classics and family sitcoms and The Simpsons and Bleach.
And the newest. And the newest series of Bleach.
Did they not get any of the old stuff? Is it just the 1,000-Year Blood War?
I think so.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think they got the old stuff.
No context 1,000-Year Blood War.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I haven't really looked.
Because
other places have the old stuff too, so
yeah.
Maybe they did.
I feel like I remember seeing that they were supposed to, but I think they kind of got to give it, the Disney workover first.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to heavily edit it.
I'm not interested in ever seeing that.
Yeah.
Maybe to what do the kids say? Hate watch? I could hate watch it probably.
Isn't that one Jeremy did with or probably most people did with the Velma show?
Oh, see, I think we could write a 13-episode Scooby-Doo reboot, and it would be better than that.
Yeah, I could shit one out, and it would be better than that.
Yeah,
probably.
so.
Because I refuse to even hate watch that. I'm just not going to.
I hate watched the first 6 episodes, and I haven't been able to make myself do the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't. I hope I never accidentally catch a second of an episode.
Yeah.
I think I watched the first one.
It's not good.
Because I love Scooby-Doo.
Me too. I love it so much.
My checks are Scooby-Doo.
Damn. But here's the thing.
My pillowcase is Scooby-Doo.
that show, and this is not an original opinion. I've heard other people express this opinion, but that show would be better if it did not have the Scooby-Doo IP attached to it. If it was just an original show.
If it was just a show, and you changed the
then
characters.
It would still not be good.
Yeah.
But it would be slightly better if it
Yeah.
didn't have the Scooby-Doo comparison on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if they were to have never even mentioned Scooby-Doo to begin with, They could have pulled that off. Like,
Yeah.
they could have looked exactly
And just,
the way
like,
they
made
are.
It would have been like a
different-
crappy teen drama.
Made it a
Yeah,
different
different
name,
name,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, like there'd be similarities, sure, and character design and stuff like that. People
Call her
like, man,
Vanessa
kind
or something.
of look like Simpsons characters, or not Simpsons. They kind of look like Scooby-Doo characters. But,
You know, like,
you know,
yeah. People
yeah.
be like, this is
Similar
a
outfits.
lame Scooby knockoff,
Mhm,
and it
yeah.
wouldn't have the hate of being an actual, Scooby-Doo
it'd just
IP
be
failure.
it'd just be hated for being bad.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Well, and it would technically get less hate for being a Scooby-Doo knockoff because they own Scooby-Doo. So
Which
it's like they can do whatever they want with the concepts.
Who's the girl who made it? I forget her name.
Oh,
Mindy Keeling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, my opinion of her wasn't really affected by it. I just thought it was stupid that it was even allowed. You know, like, why do this Scooby-Doo? Because a lot of people will, whenever she makes something,
Mm-hmm.
they always use, like, the no God why gif
Yeah.
from The Office.
That she fucking wrote.
And she
Yeah.
she's like, what's hilarious about this is I wrote this episode, which it's true she did.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of the better episodes. Like, she is a good writer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, just don't make this kind of stuff.
Might catch some flack for this, but I don't really like The Office. So.
I like Michael Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, there's characters.
I don't like Michael Scott.
He cracks me up.
You do
That's
find him
because it's
cringy.
his.
Yeah, and it's like it's painful to watch. It's like I could not stand to be around this person in real life. He
Oh
would have,
no,
like,
there's
one
no
of-
way.
Yeah,
I could not.
so,
That's
like,
but it's a TV show, so it's funny to me. You know, like
Yeah.
But if I was around this person, I would
Yeah.
just not be. I would make sure I never was near
Yeah.
that person again. But
So it's like, and I don't know.
My dad loves
find
the That's
Steve
What She Said
Carell
jokes.
kind of pretentious sometimes.
He kind of.
Yeah.
So, like, have you heard the story about him anonymously bidding? There was a charity auction. Apparently, he anonymously bid for a dinner that was supposed to be with Steve Carell. And he bid like several thousand, like a lot of money. It went to charity.
No, I didn't.
But
No,
he
I didn't know
buys
that.
like. I remember being spun as kind of positive, like, oh, he gave so much to charity. It's like he's buying the ability to not interact with his fans. You know
Yeah.
that, right? Like, if
Yeah.
that story's true,
Mhm,
then he
yeah.
paid for that so he didn't have to hang out
Interact
with
with
a fan.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just give you the money.
It's like, how about I just pay your charity and you don't do this again?
How about I take what they're gonna pay you and I add $5?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an auction.
Yeah.
So.
$1,001.
But I think he was also on an episode of Pawn Stars or something like that, and I thought
He
he was,
was, yeah.
I thought he was kind of pretentious on that. So.
Yeah, and I know there are like bits at the Oscars and stuff like that, but he kind of gives it off.
Yeah.
And any bit that he's a part of, where it's just like I know he's acting right now, but there's still kind of a vibe to it. That's like there's some truth behind it.
And it's like, man, Steve, I can't see you as anyone but brick.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then with Jim Carrey, we always know it's a bit.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, he's crazy. I like Jim
Oh yeah,
Carrey,
he's,
he's
a
nuts.
fucking nutcase.
Yeah.
I love him. Like his bits at the Oscars were always great. Like him just like screaming at people, kind of
It's
stuff.
like, is this a bit or is he
Uh-huh.
going insane? That's
Yeah.
the best part. You don't know.
You don't know. Or like whenever Cameron Diaz was pretty much being forced to kiss that one music star years ago, and he won like best kiss for Dumb and Dumber with that one girl, like at one of the awards. Like he won best kiss with this other actress, and he goes up there to Cameron Diaz and the guy presenting it right after they just got done making out, which the guy forced on Cameron Diaz, and the Cameron Diaz and the other girl, they're hugging,
Mhm.
and Jim walks up to the guy, grabs him, and fucking makes out with him. as like a payback thing to him. It's like, you motherfucker. Like,
That's hilarious.
The guy, like,
oh, this
Jim
nimble-faced
Jim
Canadian
turns
will
around,
not let
he's
go
got
of
a
me.
big shit-eating grin on his face. And the other guy kind of is like faking a smile, but you see him like wiping it away, looking all pissed off, looking away from the screen. It's so funny.
I can-
Maintain
Yeah, I can see.
That clip is so funny every time I
I
watch
see.
it.
I can see Jim seeing something like that and just being like, "Okay, well, I guess that's okay now."
Yeah, exactly. But I'm pretty sure him and Cameron Diaz have been known to like be buddies, like friends.
I'm pretty
Ah.
sure they have fucked.
Yeah, so him seeing that, he's just like, yeah. But I mean, she very obviously did not want to kiss this dude, and the guy kind of forced it on her.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I mean, did.
Did you
Like,
see?
it was fucked up watching it. But then Jim does that, and you're like, yeah. Yeah,
Vindication.
fuck you, dude. Yeah.
Did you see his acceptance speech at the recent Golden Globes?
Golden Globes
No,
Awards.
I don't think I did.
It was so great because it was the second time he won, and he's like, when I go to bed at night, I don't dream any old dream. I dream about being Jim Carrey, 3-time Golden Globe winner.
Do you think he dreams about being himself?
It was just like, it was a whole speech about being pretentious over the fact that it was like the second time he won.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
a very Jim Carrey speech. To
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm no longer 1-time Golden Globe
winner. I am
Yeah.
2-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey. What did he win it for? Was it Sonic?
Oh, I don't even know.
He
I
deserves
just
it.
watched
Because
the
he deserves it for
He's
Dr.
gonna
Eggman.
have back problems after that movie.
I just figured at this point they
Jesus.
had a.
For
Yeah.
carrying it.
I just,
Yeah.
I just figured at this point they had a category set aside for him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what
do.
does Jim Carrey do this year?
Yeah.
It's like just-
because he
it's-
gets an award for it.
Yeah.
It's like he gets the trophy and it doesn't say best of or anything.
Mhm.
All it
Just
says is Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
and
love
then,
you, Jim.
And then when he officially retires, if he hasn't already, then
Mm.
no one gets the award. Like it's an award that they just don't award
It
out
just
anymore.
has to stand there
Uh-huh.
collecting. The last one never gets handed out.
Yeah.
Oh my
exactly.
god, I watched the Bob Saget tribute on Netflix and Chris Rock was like, I can't believe Bob had to die to get Jim back on stage.
That's pretty funny.
Dude, I love Chris Rock so much.
Chris Rock's great. I loved when he finally did a routine on like Will Smith slapping him.
Right?
And that was so funny.
Hey, how did you
he's a
guys
genius.
you saw the footage? Like he chose not to go ahead and punch Will Smith for
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah. I mean,
He could have.
he grew up in, not like the best neighborhood and best life,
Yeah.
It's like he's got a little bit of dog in him,
Yeah.
Like Will Smith was, I mean, he kind of had a similar upbringing at first, but then it was like from there pretty smooth selling rich kid.
Yeah.
Well, and I think in that moment with him holding back, he kind of made wonders for his career because now the networks kind of like they can trust him, keep the show
Yeah.
going. Because if
Oh,
he
yeah.
had, the cameras would have been turned off immediately. at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was like, there's two celebrities literally fist fighting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Two
that,
black
that,
celebrities.
that,
Yeah.
that little
Yeah, it's
motion,
like,
that little
this is white people stuff.
yeah,
What's happening?
that little clinch, and then deciding not to keep the fight going, like
Uh-huh.
that showed more restraint than Will Smith did, like the
Oh, yeah.
entire night. So it's
Well,
like-
he was laughing at his jokes until his wife gave him
somebody
the look.
looked over at him.
And I was like, you fucking pussy.
I don't like her. But
Oh, no,
really
I
like-
can't
I know a
stand
lot
her.
of people don't, and a lot of people do. So I'm like,
Mm-mm. No.
I do not.
Tupac dodged a bullet with her.
Yeah.
But too bad he couldn't dodge the other one.
Oh boy.
Well, anyway, any final
I
thoughts,
love you,
boys?
Tupac. He's still alive.
Right? Yeah. Still releasing music.
Yeah. What superpower would Jim Carrey have? Would he choose?
I mean, didn't he show us? He
Comedy.
revealed his superpower in the movie The Mask.
Oh yeah, Toon Force. There
Yeah,
we go.
Jim Carrey has the
Toon Force would be so good.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's up there for me.
Uh,
Hey, don't worry, another character's getting it someday. So.
Yeah.
So excited.
Well, I'm curious if anyone who hears this, what would your choice of superpower be?
Yeah, let us
You
know in
tell
the
us,
comments,
yeah.
and we'll tell you if it was a good choice or not. Like, if it's super speed, you're pretty wrong.
Yeah, don't pick super speed.
Yeah.
Comment if it's super speed, but just so we
And
can
so
tell
the
you
rest
that it's
of the
wrong.
people in the comments can ridicule you.
Yeah, and devil fruits. What's
Yes.
your what devil
Yeah.
fruit would you
Devil
choose?
fruit choice. Yeah.
Do you agree that we
Yeah.
assigned Jim Carrey's power right?
Yeah.
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 Like, comment, subscribe. You can hear us make more mistakes on Lethally Stupid, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
We should start doing like the Watch Mojo. Like, don't forget to hit that bell.
Or
Don't forget the
or-
bell.
Or we need to start doing like, if you don't like and subscribe, then my house gets foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Just insane scenarios
If you
that would
don't
never
subscribe
happen.
to this channel, Pickles will go hungry.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Yeah, yeah.
She must maintain this fluff.
If you don't hit that bell, then the mafia comes to my house tomorrow and rips my penis off.
1 in 3 chance of getting your dick ripped off.
Yeah, that's like or the juggalo in me comes out and I tie a rope to my dick and jump out a 10-story window.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Love that song so much.
Yes.
What is a juggalo?
Bye, guys.